everyone. Welcome to Whiskey Cigars Football. It has been a while since we've done anything.
Too long.
Too long.
We were on summer vacation.
We were on summer vacation, and I'm heading for another one. So, yeah, we are very committed to our job. As usual, we're going to talk about a lot of different sports topics, but we're going to start with...
we're going to talk about all four. We got so much stuff to go over.
We do have so much stuff to go over. So today is the July 27th, and pretty much every team has something to talk about. So we're gonna touch on all of it.
Yep.
But we'll start with, and we're gonna start with this, George. We are gonna start with a bourbon called Yellowstone. You guys can all see that there. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 93 proof. Made in Lebanon, Kentucky, Limestone Branch Distillery. Now, we had a conversation last night about what we were going to talk about today. We talked about different whiskeys. We talked about possibly doing old fashions.
We did.
We didn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be upcoming.
Dave promised old fashions and dropped the ball.
Yeah, I did. But I thought I'm just going to go completely off the board. So, George, you have never had this whiskey. Is that correct? Have you ever tasted it? Have you ever seen it?
I have never had it.
I've never had it, never tasted it, never saw it. It's about $35, so everybody knows, somewhere between 35 and 40. And we'll turn it over to my friend here for a review.
No, I liked it. I think if for a $35 price point, that's a really good bourbon. Definitely, you can taste the caramel. Smell it. Smelling like cherries, oak.
Definitely smoky.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I picked up.
Yeah, smoke. I thought it paired very well with the cigar. I really liked it.
It does pair very well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's and supposedly it was. What was it? So the grandkids bought, their grandfathers.
Yeah, the rich grandkids bought their grandfather's recipe. I mean, I'm just assuming. We don't
know for sure, but good for them that they bought they resurrected their grandfather's bourbon recipe.
Bourbon recipe from 1872.
1872.
So,
which was only a few years before Dave was born. So
that's right. I think that was Teagle's birthday. I think 1872.
So I like it. I would recommend it.
I don't
for
like
the price point.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. For $35, I thought it was a very solid bourbon.
I didn't like the smokiness of it, but
you're smoking a cigar.
I know, but that's why I want to get the smoke from the cigar. I don't want to get the smoke from the bourbon. Does that make any sense?
Nope.
All right, moving on. We are looking at a New World Toro cigar. Now, this is usually is definitely darker and more full-bodied than me being a novice cigarist. Is that a word? Cigarist?
Yeah, we could use it.
It's like guitarist.
Yeah.
So cigarist. This is usually a little heavy for me, but I will say to you that it burns really nice, really clean.
Yep. Yep.
I do think as this video goes on, I will be buzzed from this, definitely. But it's Nicaraguan, and it's nice. Estelle, Nicaragua.
I liked it. I like that a little darker, and it's kind of compared it to like a dark coffee note, which I like that. I want a dark coffee. I want a little kick in the backside. As a coffee to wake up, and I feel like this cigar has that as well. I enjoy it.
Are you saying some of these videos we've been asleep? Is that what you?
I'm not saying we've been asleep, but I like the cigar. I want a little, I want to know I'm smoking a cigar. I don't mind a little. You can definitely feel it there a little bit in your throat. It's a nice, nice, darker, richer cigar without it being completely overpowering. Though Dave did tell me he's going to be buzzed.
I'm definitely going to be buzzed off this. On another note, I would just like to say real quick, I am drinking a Guinness out of a U2 Vertigo May 2005 commemorative glass that I got at the Wells Fargo Center, and I was almost thrown out of the Wells Fargo Center because I was eating dinner and watching their sound check because I was there very early. And
you got thrown out for eating dinner?
the edge was pointing up at them to shut the curtain because my stupid face was there. I was rocking out vertigo, and he's pointing up. I had people come up and told me that.
Well, I mean, you have a big, huge head.
I do have.
I mean, not as big as mine. I actually have to wear a visor because my head's so fat.
Yeah. He looks like Doug. Who thinks he looks like Doug Peterson today? Little Doug Peterson. You look good.
I met Doug Peterson once, and outside of people related to me, he had one of the biggest heads I've ever seen.
Dougie P.
He had an enormous head. Much like me.
Doug Peterson back in the league next year, George?
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach.
I don't think so.
Really? I mean, you know, there's going to be 5 or 6 jobs next year.
There'll be 5 or 6. I don't even know if he wants that. I think he just wants to call plays and people to leave him alone and let him call plays. I could see him back as an offensive coordinator. I don't see him back as a coach.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, we're not.
As you can see from our hats, we're here to talk about the Phillies.
Can you see that?
Phillies. And a lot going on this week with the trade deadline. So, you know, let's
start with today. Today's July 27th, in case you don't see this till another day. And the Phillies have made a deal today, George.
Yeah, Tyler Anderson.
Okay.
You know, the one thing that I will say about Tyler Anderson, outside of one really bad outing, the guy seems to be able to go at least 5 innings, which is a major accomplishment for 60% of our pitching staff. You know, he doesn't get tired after 40 pitches. He doesn't give up 7 runs in 2 innings. You know, he's a guy that gives you a chance to win and doesn't tax your bullpen. And he really didn't give up a lot. He gave up lower level.
Do you know who? I don't know who's giving up in the trade. Do you know who it was?
I don't. I didn't know this was going to be a test today.
No, I don't either. That was a serious question, folks. So I have no idea who it was. I know it was 2 lower level prospects.
I read it from John Heyman and Jason Stark that, you know, these guys were lower level to mid level prospects. Nothing. It was a pretty fair value there as far as the trade goes. I think they needed another arm without question.
Without question.
They probably still needed another. And it kind of takes us like to what we had a little argument. I won't say argument, but we had a discussion.
But before we get to that, which of our stud pitchers do you think comes out of the rotation for Tyler Anderson? This is big because we got 5 aces out there.
Well,
hashtag Matt Moore going tonight.
Yeah, I think Vince is out. I mean, I think he has to be out, and I think, you know, I think they've given him
chance after chance.
They should have never even re-signed him. I think if you can get a bag of balls for him, you trade him.
I think he should have been an eighth, a back-ended bullpen guy. I don't even know why they did that. I don't think he could be
that with his control. To me, the guy that's the bullpen guy is Spencer Howard right now. I just feel like you've messed with this dude so much. Like, how aren't you in shape? Like, he ran the bases again.
But maybe he's just not capable of being a starter. I mean, he does pitch 3 shutout innings every time he goes out.
He does, but how? Like, stretch him out a little bit.
Well,
like they babied him, and they baby all their prospects, and it's absolutely terrible. Like, how do you have that good of stuff and you? Okay, then
what's wrong? What's wrong with having a 25-year-old closer for the next 6 years? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Then make him the closer. But you keep throwing him out there knowing he can't get past 40 pitches. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Whose call is that? That's got to be Dombrowski's call, right?
I don't know. Who knows who's in charge? Like, who knows?
It's got to be Dombrowski's in charge, right?
Is he? There's a Girardi's?
Who the hell is in charge?
I just think it's a mess, and I think it's. I think
we don't have a closer. We don't have an 8th inning guy, and you have a kid that can't pitch past 3 innings.
Nope. I think
just put him in the back of the bullpen.
For this year, I think that's the answer. But then you have to decide. You either have to stretch this guy out, and he can either be your starter, be one of your 5 starters, or he's your closer. And he's your closer for for the next whatever.
I got a closer and a control for 5 years at no money. What's wrong with that?
John Wetland, Mariano Rivera, and I'm not trying to compare Spencer Howard to those guys, but they were all failed starters.
Yes.
Ryan Matson.
Yes.
One of our own failed.
Yes.
So if that's the case, put him there and keep him there.
Yes.
Stop jerking them around between the minors and the majors and starting and relieving.
Oh my God!
And he can only pitch. He can only pitch 100 innings.
But
stop it! Stop!
Dave,
Stop!
If we had a closer, I could understand them trying to turn him into a starter. We don't have a closer.
It doesn't matter if you have a closer or not. You got to make a decision on this guy. You got to make a decision on this guy. Put him in the bullpen. I think you put him in the bullpen. Unfortunately.
I'm definitely going to be
until Eflin comes back. I think Matt Moore and Chase Anderson are stuck in your rotation.
No, we got Tyler Anderson.
Yeah, but he's your third now. You still need 2 other guys until Eflin comes back.
No offense, and I can tell you my stories about taking shots in the needle to play in a softball championship. But
stop it.
But Eflin needs to take the needle and get back out on the mound. No disrespect.
You don't even know what's wrong with him.
It's tendonitis. Yeah. It's a shot.
Yeah.
Take a cortisone shot and get out there. I don't want to hear this.
For what, your 1 game over 500 team?
Well, let's go. That's a great segue.
Yeah.
Phillies huge win last night. Huge. Would you agree?
It was a very big win.
Wait a second. Let me ask. Can I just? I'm going to cut you off for 1 second.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
Was it Harper or Realmuto with the big hit last night?
Huh? I mean, they got on base.
Okay, go.
Here's my thing, and this is where we were disagreeing last night. Is you got to be in. You're either in or you're out, and they have a $200 million payroll. You hired Drobowski. You didn't hire him to blow it all up again. You tried that. You haven't made the playoffs for 10 years. You haven't been over 500 for 10 years.
They are right now. They're 1 game over.
Okay. You're in. You're in for it. John Middleton has saved a ton of money. He's made a ton of money. You're in. It's bad that they have spent as much money as they are and they're only 1 game over 500. But you hired those guys. You hired McPhail. You hired Klentak. You're in. You're writing checks. You're going for it. I call the Cubs. What do we got to do to get Bryant and Kimball? What do we got to do? Here's Bohm. Here's Scott. Here's Medina. Here's whoever you want. Here's Merchant. Here's whoever. Whoever you whatever it takes, that's what you got to do. That's what we have to do. This is it. You signed Bryce Harper. You signed JT Realmuto.
Zach Wheeler.
You signed Zach Wheeler. You spent this money. You're invested. Go for it. Not only this year, but you got to be willing to re-sign Chris Bryant to whatever that is. I mean, he's a Scott.
I think that's another 25-30 mil.
And if it's not Chris Bryant, I'm not saying it has to be him, but there needs to be another bat in that lineup. The lineup is so inconsistent. You have so many holes. I am done with Odubel. I don't know why this dude's.
I don't know why he's on the team.
I don't know why. I don't know why he's on the team.
He's terrible.
I don't. Yeah, everything from a personal standpoint to a playing standpoint, he shouldn't be on the team. I'm done with him. You know what I mean? Send him to AAA. Whatever.
I think
you got to pay his contract. Do whatever.
That money's spent. You're not getting it back.
You're not getting it back. But go out and try to win this year.
So I think
if it's Bruxton, if it's whoever.
I got it.
No, you're in.
I agree. I was on the other side of this. I am very much a tear it down guy. I would burn this thing to the ground. But George, I'm going to give you credit here. George convinced me. He's like, Dave, you haven't won in 10 years. You can't burn it down. Spend it. Spend your way out.
And you're invested.
And you're right. I'm wrong, and you're right. What do you think of that? Are you ever going to say that on a video?
Because
you were wrong.
Right. I told him exactly what happened to Sixers in the playoffs. He didn't want to listen to me.
Yes, he did. Yes,
he didn't want to listen to me. Yes, I tell him all this stuff. He doesn't want to listen to me.
I will say this. You are a good armchair GM. I have to admit. I have no argument there. But big win for the Phillies last night. One game over. They make it. They needed an arm. Somebody who could pitch 5 innings. Is it a major upgrade? No. I would think.
I think you know what? It shouldn't be a major upgrade, but I think it's a semi-major compared to what you had. You had nothing. You had you and your softball glory going out there.
That's right.
You didn't have anything. You had Joe Waller circa 1993.
The big cat. He was Galarraga.
He had a no-hitter where he had there were 7 errors and 8 walks. He was the Joe Cowley of his time.
Fantastic. Great player. But I will say this. Rich Rodriguez of the Pirates was available, so a bullpen piece.
Sure.
You could have added him in the Tyler Anderson deal. Like you said, you're going for it. Just go for it. Like, why did we not get a reliever and a starter from the Pirates? They're giving away everyone.
They are. and listen, and maybe they will. Like, they have this Saturday. I think after they made this move, I would be very, very surprised if they're on it.
The Cubs have Ryan Tepera, and Andrew Chasen got traded today. I don't remember the deal, so that's a Cub. And the Twins have 2 relievers that I don't know their names, but the Twins have 2 relievers, and apparently the Twins are going to sell.
No, the Twins are done. The Rangers are done. There's a lot of teams that are done and going to sell, but there's a lot of competition. 5 teams from each league make it now. So there's going to be some.
How many teams made it last year in the playoffs?
What was last year?
It was 8. It was 8 each league.
Nah, 7.
7. The Phillies made the top. The Phillies need to win 1 game last year.
Like one of their last 3 games.
They couldn't do it.
It's you got to go out. You got to make these moves, and then you evaluate at the end of the year. And I'm not saying maybe it's not Bryant, but you definitely need a bat. You definitely need another bullpen piece. And I think in an ideal world, you need another starter. But I think that depends on Eflin's health. We don't know about. If Eflin comes back,
take the needle.
Yeah, you got 4 guys that should be able to pitch 5-6 innings. 2 guys that should be able to pitch 5-6 innings, and 2 guys that should be able to go 7-8 innings.
Yeah, they should be able to go 8.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with Girardi. He keeps going to a bullpen. He did it last year. Kept going to a bullpen. He didn't have.
Here's the problem: is he keeps going to the bullpen and he's not willing to pitch guys 3 days in a row. Like, what's going to happen to guys? Like, I get if a guy goes 3 innings 2 days in a row, you don't want to pitch him the 3rd day. But man, I
don't get it.
I think some of it's on him. I
don't think Girardi's done a nice job.
We'll see.
You think Girardi's done a nice job this year?
No. I wouldn't. I'd give him a C.
My biggest issue with the Phillies is there's no sense of urgency with this team. And it goes back to what you said. And I'm going to give you credit for this again. What do you think of that?
Oh, look at this. 2 times.
There's a culture of losing. It's okay. We don't win today. We'll win tomorrow.
Yep.
That needs to end. That has to go away. Right?
There's no culture of
every game they have to win. And they don't do it.
I drink and I know things.
He does know things. He knows a lot of things.
I'm with you. Like it's got to change. Like it's just got to be like it's not acceptable. The Flyers, talk about a segue.
Let's go.
The Flyers, kind of went through that, and they have been, in my opinion, and I will fully admit, I'm a 4-for-4 guy. I love the Flyers. I'm not a hockey guy. I'm not a guy that's gonna tell you I enjoy watching them, like cheer for them, but I'm not a huge guy that can break down hockey. I will say though, since you went to Lindros 95 to the early 2000s, and you still had some really good players. You had Primo, you had Gagne Briere, and you were competitive for a few years in the mid 2000s. But since then, with the one exception of 2010, they haven't been a successful hockey team. And for the first time, they kind of went out of the organization in a very long time. Hire Fletcher, hire AV, and decide to go a different route, like to a hardcore coach. So Dave we're going to change things up. Dave is going to give some analysis here. So in your opinion, what was the AV influence?
So let's just go back a little bit to George. So not last year, the year before, they go to the conference semis. Very young team, a lot of hockey experts, which I am not. I'll pick the Flyers to come out and make the Cup Finals, not necessarily win. And if you heard Fletcher's press conference, which I absolutely love, which you're never going to hear from the Phillies, by the way, last year was unacceptable, was his quote. Everything about last year was unacceptable. So he didn't make a couple of changes. He went out and got rid of 6 players, 6 core players to change the culture.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
We go, what went wrong last year?
What went wrong last year? They didn't understand the impact of losing Niskanen. Niskanen retires unexpectedly.
Yep, I heard.
They had no understanding of that. They thought they had Myers who could fill in on the top line with Provorov and do 20, 25 minutes a night. He was a disaster. He couldn't deal with the pressure.
Okay.
I think he's going to end up being a nice player in this league.
Yeah.
He just wasn't ready for that role at that time.
Yeah.
But you have to applaud. Now, whether these moves work out or not, in my mind, George, you have to applaud their effort that they did to change the core and go out to get players. With, I might add, not getting rid of any of their top 5 prospects. Not a one.
So we'll touch on the top 5 because I do want to break down that your top 5, but
yeah.
In your opinion, so why did they move these specific players? Why were these trades beneficial? Tell me why you think these trades.
So from a lot of reading and sources, there was multiple players that did not appreciate playing for AV last year.
Yeah.
They thought he was a bit of a hard guy.
Sure.
A hard ASS, right?
Yeah. You can say yes.
Hard ass.
We're on the internet.
A couple of them, I can tell you right now, were Nolan Patrick, Philip Myers, and Jake Voracek. They went into the room. They told Chuck, we don't like this coach. He told him, get out of my office. He's my coach. Next thing you know, they're all out of here.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Chuck Fletcher's either going to lose his job because he did that, or he's going to be a hero for doing that.
Okay.
I applaud him. In today's modern athlete, how many times does the GM say, shut up and go back and play for the coach? In any sport, when does that happen? Maybe Belichick, right? Yeah. Who was that really happening
So
to?
you're happy with the trades?
I'm happy with the trades.
You think they've improved the team?
They got 2 right-handed defensemen, which is like the golden apple in the NHL, a right-handed shooting defenseman. Nobody has them. Mm-hmm. They got 2 of them, Ruotsalainen and Ellis, okay? You're going to have Ellis play with Provorov. You're going to have Ruotsalainen play with Sanheim.
Okay.
Who they play 5 and 6 ain't even really going to matter, obviously, unless somebody gets injured. They're going to play 35 minutes a night, those 4. Right? Easily. And the bottom pair will play 15 minutes, maybe.
I don't know.
No, I'm just trying to tell you. Yeah, they'll play 35. Provorov played 25, 26 minutes a night.
All right. So
Ryan Ellis played 25, 26 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 25. Yeah. So you like the moves they made.
Yes.
What other moves you think the Flyers are making here?
All right, so they got about $12 million under the cap. For those of you who don't know, they signed Keith Yandel today, who's older than our friend Teagle, which is amazing. But he's 42. He's an Iron Man. He's been in the league forever. He's the perfect number 6, number 7.
Yep.
Okay? He's not going to play more than 12 minutes a night,
Yeah.
15 minutes a night. Maybe he gets some power play time if you want to give Ellis a night off or Provorov a night off. So they'll do that. They'll probably grab another penalty killer. So they got rid of Voracek, but they brought in the guy from Columbus, whose name is escaping me right now. Atkinson, excuse me. He's one of the top penalty killers in the NHL. So
yeah, that definitely improves their
the Flyers' whole goal was to cut down in goals against. They were the worst team in the NHL in goals against average last year, which messed up Carter Hart, who's considered universally a tremendous goaltender.
Yep.
he was a disaster, and I think what was going on in front of him was a disaster, and it all snowballs, right? It just keeps going like that.
So where are they right now in your mind? And I know it's hard you're projecting. Where are they in the East next year? Where do you see them?
I mean, they were top 2 or 3 prior to last year. I think they're back there. I think they're back again.
So a top 4 team.
They're a top 4 team in the East. Everything breaks right. They should be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow,
right? They should. You're going now there wasn't an Eastern Conference last year. It was Canadian teams and other teams, and it was all mess.
Last year was tough, and the way things were. So you're going Eastern Conference Finals for the Flyers.
Everything breaks correct. They don't have major injuries. Yes, they should be.
Okay,
they should be.
All right. So last thing for you.
Yeah.
And this is another thing we kind of talked about. Is the prospects and the young players that you have, and we've talked that the Phillies haven't done a terrible job at this, but the Sixers and Flyers and have done a kind of a good job. So who's our top prospects? Who are some players the Flyers have that you can expect to contribute a little bit this year and kind of replace maybe some of we traded some young people. I mean, we
did.
We traded Nolan Patrick and Joe Myers and some
Myers and Haig.
Yeah. You know, a lot of young players. Who are a couple of the young people that we can expect to come up and help?
So a little bit of context. The Flyers didn't want anything to do with this draft this year. They didn't want anything to do with it. So as everyone knows, or maybe you don't know, all the major junior leagues, only one of them really played, which was the Western Hockey League. They played like 10 games. The Ontario Hockey League, which is the #1 junior league, didn't play at all last year. So the Flyers didn't really want anything to do with this draft. Like, they didn't feel they had anyone evaluated. It was kind of a crazy draft. Like, guys were supposed to go in the top 10, went 20. Guys were supposed to go 20, went in the top 10. Like, it was a crapshoot. The Flyers tried to trade every one of their picks, just so everybody knows. They didn't want anything to do with this draft.
Yeah.
But the reason that they didn't care is because they have Cam York, who should be the 6th or 7th defenseman. He was their #1 pick 2 years ago. Team USA, gold medal winner, captain of the team. He's a big-time prospect. Bobby Brink, Tyson Foster, Morgan Frost, who led the world in scoring, got hurt last year, separated his shoulder, was down in Lehigh. He's probably going to be your 3C. He's going to be your third-line center.
I agree.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a defensive player. He's not a penalty killer. He's a sniper. That's what he is. That's what he's going to try to do. They got another guy, Bobby Brink. They got Cam York. Tyson Foster was a #1 pick last year. And, you know, they have Farabee. They have Allison. They have Ratcliffe. I mean, they have Zamula. If Cam York doesn't turn out as a 6'3", mobile, puck defensive guy, who's the only difference between him and Myers is Myers is a right-handed shot, Zamula's a left-handed shot, right? So the Flyers don't need more prospects at this point. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I know that sounds weird because usually every team we have in the city needs more prospects, but that's not the Flyers' issue right now, which is rare, right? But going back to what he said, we need to spend some money on a backup goalie. Brian Elliott did a nice job last year. We need a guy a little bit younger than him, I think, that can play 35, 40 games. They want to kind of take the pressure off Hart a little bit.
35, 40 games though with Hart, if you believe in Hart, you know, and you're going back to the 82-game season, that means Hart's playing
65%. This guy's playing 35% of the games.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But you do that because you want him totally ready for the playoff run, right? You want that guy that stands on his head for the playoffs, right? So you don't want him worn out. But I am, whether it works out or not, I am triple thumbs up for what Fletcher did.
All right.
And they gave away a lot of picks, and they gave away players.
The internet didn't feel that way.
But they were bold.
But they were bold. And you know what? They went for the change. It wasn't working. And I give them credit for that. Like they went in
core
and said,
changes.
They said, hey, it's not working with what we have. We're going to go make some changes. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But Eastern Conference, Dave Thompson, Eastern Conference Finals, you know.
Not saying they're winning it.
We all buy him.
But
we
I
all
think
buy
we
him
go.
a shot if he's right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think everybody would be cool with that, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much from Dave and I. We appreciate you guys, and we'll be back very shortly to talk a little more sports with you, and a little more bourbon and a little more cigars.
Yes.
You guys have a great one.
Well, good night.